Do you guys like the way that I start and stop these videos? It's not like my brain. So basically, if you haven't familiarized with what we do over here, this is essentially a documentary on mental illness. I think I understand a lot of it. Not just what I do, but different types of disorders. I've been on medication. I've been to a lot of therapy. I've been in 12-step programs. That's what the symbol is. It's not just free medicine bullshit. I mean, it is. But I try to tell them that. You can't tell people that are in a cult that they're in a cult. And that's how everyone behaves these days. That's how everyone behaves these days. That explains my malaise. No, I don't think that this is just a rudimentary phase. Is rudimentary the correct term? I hope so. I'll look it up when I watch the video. So yes, this is somewhat of a documentary on mental illness, what I call schpielness. It's how I dealness with my feelness. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of it, but I don't like to spill it. Cause yeah, a lot of people call it spillness. Cause yeah, that's what it does. You spill all your feelings. You spill all your thoughts, your unwanted thoughts, your intrusive thoughts on other people. And they get uncomfortable, so they say you gotta take pills for that, cause I don't want to deal with that. I understand. I mean, I'm not gonna take them. Maybe I'll tell you I'm taking them, but I'm a really bad liar, though. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'll lie if I have to, because you're probably lying. You're lying to yourself. You believe a bunch of lies, so it really doesn't mean anything to lie to people that lie, so... You know, I want to be the upstanding citizen. I don't want to be just a shitizens. That's what most Americans are. But I think about our ancestors dying for a place. That's such a motherfucking disgrace. It makes me so sad to think about it. And because I don't want to feel like shit, I try to do something more that won't make them turn in their grave. And I don't have to be a patriot. I think patriotism is another way to be enslaved, but whatever. Speaking of Memorial Day, it just makes me sad that we celebrate death, that we celebrate destruction, we celebrate all kinds of things that don't make logical sense to me. And I know that a woman, so you assume I can't see what logic is, but I promise that I'm different, man. I think I have a man brain. I take all my emotions and analyze them. What woman does that? You just gotta blame a man for them. Or they blame the world, even though the world is probably most definitely to blame for a lot of them. But I think the problem with women, we're catered to. We're always catered to. And we're treated like babies, so we act like babies, because we're allowed to, you know? So it makes sense why we believe in killing our babies. We're killing ourselves, essentially. A little teeny tiny part of us. We don't think it's part of us, but baby girl, everything's part of us. Including men. And I stress that to men that hate women as well. Women are point of view. You can't tell? I mean, I thought the internet made it obvious. Everybody's tell, everything that they didn't even know that they had inside of them. So desperate to come out, so desperate to pop out, so desperate to shout out. Why do I only get inspired to do this in the wee hours of the morning? Why do I only get inspired to do this at an inopportune time for everybody else? It's just the way I'm wired. I've tried to rewire. I've tried to rewire, but I can't. Just accept the things. Reminds me of the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the motherfucking wisdom to know the motherfucking difference. What if I just did this black voice all the time? And then just I identified as transracial? What do you think people would do? Do you think I would get killed? That'd be cool. That'd be cool if a black person killed me because I act black. Well, that's funny and very politically incorrect because of like black on black crime that we're not allowed to talk about. But if it's a black person killing a white person because they act black. You know what really upset me yesterday? I gotta say this. There are these two black girls I work with. I've been working with them for years, okay? I love them. They love me. But they're indoctrinated, okay? A lot of black people are indoctrinated just the way the white people are. And the reason I talk about this is because it's something I've always noticed since I was growing up. Mainly because I grew up outside Chicago, so there was a lot of black on black crime happening all the time. And so basically, the political narrative that you see going on with CNN, Fox News, you know, like the big wigs, you know, the main political narrative, like the president's doing this, and our senators are talking about this, and this is what's going on in the Supreme Court. There's that, the big wigs, and then there's like the small town, or the local politics, okay? The local stuff is what's really happening. The stuff in Washington is like the fucking, what do you call it? The show. You know, it's the show. It's the ongoing show called America. You're not fucking free, bitch. You know? When are you gonna notice? But, anyway, what was my point? Did I have a point? Oh, race. So, yeah, if you pay attention to the local stuff, you know that race is a completely different thing than it is in, like Washington kind of politics. Okay, like O.J. Simpson. Okay, so I grew up around the time of, like, O.J. Simpson. And so when he got let off for doing something very similar to what many of his race has done in the street, but not, you know, like all over the news for, what, 7 months, taking over local broadcasting. There hasn't been any kind of crime that black people have committed that has, like, had that kind of coverage. That's what I'm saying. The fact that there's this major celebrity that got off on an obvious murder that could have been labeled a crime of passion, and he would have gotten off at a very short period of time had they just given him that verdict. But instead, they just let him go. They said he was innocent, which he obviously wasn't, because they had, like, so much evidence, as well as a motive. But whatever. The fact that black people were excited about that just proves that they love getting their fucking scraps, okay? But white people do too, And that's another thing, like, if I say that as a white person, people are going to say I'm racist. Even though it's something that's really obvious, and woke black people would probably be impressed by the fact that I noticed that, okay? But yeah, anyway. These black girls that I work with asked me if I would call them the N-word using the hard R if I was angry with them. And I told them, absolutely not. And what makes you think that I would be angry with you because of your race? Like, if I was angry with you, it would have nothing to do with your race. And they were just so shocked, like, pleasantly shocked. Like, oh, wow, you're not a racist. Like, and I don't know. I don't look at people like that. Like, oh, I don't like you because you look this way, or you're of this group, or you are from this area. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. And I'm not saying that to win anybody. I'm not saying that to impress, the left. I don't impress them for very long anyway, But, yeah, like, it's so funny to me, like, everything's a contest. Everything's a contest. They think that, and by they, I just mean everybody right now. Everybody thinks that if you're saying or doing something, it's for attention, or it's to, like, promote something, and it's just so obnoxious. I'm not a capitalist, honey. I'm not interested in just making money and getting some sort of validation or whatever. I think that enough women have done that, and it's really annoying, and I hate my gender for it. But I also realize that my gender, just like my race, is very susceptible to a lot of things. So, I think that the white race, thanks to the news media and thanks to this portrayal of black people in this country, we have this misconception about blacks, and that they're all thugs, and that's why they kill off the rappers. Shh. Yeah, that's why I'm a huge fan of Tupac. But anyway, yeah, so much like white people have misconceptions about other races, black people have misconceptions about our race, and they just assume that all white people are racist and hate them. And that's what makes me sad. But it's like, I thought about it, and I was like, don't be upset with them, because they can't help it. They live in America, and they have had this narrative thrust upon them their entire life. And not just that, but crack and Section 8 housing. So it's like, I get it. I really get that perspective way more. But it's like, so many of them I know are not woke on birth control. And I ended up getting this huge argument with a bunch of women that I work with about, my sexist views. And, I I literally told this girl who's, like, a manager, I was like, yeah, I don't think women should be in positions of authority. And what's cool about it was that she was the only one. Like, all these other women were, like, mad that I said that. But she, like, could take it. Because she's like a man. If women can do what men can do, it's because they act like men. This is a problem for a lot of reasons, okay? But, this is the way that it is, though. The thing is, like, people can get mad about all they want, and the more that I think about this whole subject involving gender, the less I even want to talk about it. I'm talking about it right now because I know that I'm right about it, but it's like, I explained this to my friend and she got it. she was like, you're right about women. Women are really emotional, and they play the victim, and they take things personally. She's like, I hope I don't do that. I'm like, no, you don't. You really don't. But a lot of women do. A lot of women that I've worked with and worked under have done that, and continue to do that. And that's why they shouldn't be in a man's position. But, if you look at men and the way that they act, because of this female influence, much like women blame men for the fact that they act so trashy, which is stupid. They obviously have no self-awareness if they're going to bitch about this particular behavior and then act exactly like that. Okay, obviously the behavior wasn't the problem. You're a piece of shit. Anyway, but yeah, it's like I see men doing the same thing where it's like they're influenced by women, so they're just blaming women for the fact that they act wrong. And it's like, dude, why can't we just blame ourselves? All right, like I don't understand why people just think that they're immune to personal responsibility, and that just seems to be a common problem. But yeah, I know that I'm a rare bird because I don't act like a lot of white people. I don't act like... I think I'm probably the most, like, un-American, mainly because I'm just not modern. Like, there are modern things that I have. There are modern things that I do because I have to. This is the world that I live in, And if I was supposed to be Amish, I would have been Amish. I would have been born in that community. So I feel like it's wrong for me to just turn my back on the responsibility of, doing art, which is a huge responsibility right now. I look at art the same way that Christian conservatives look at having children. They think that you're a horrible person if you don't do that. Well, if that's not something you're cut out for whatever reason, and I think schizophrenia is definitely a reason, not just an excuse, but a reason, especially since they just want to throw people like me away and put us on medication and lock us up because we're such a threat with our conspiratorial ideas that you should have listened to this whole fucking time. And if you had, you wouldn't be fucking whining right now. Anyway. Anyway. Side rant. You see my lights went out. It just took like... how many years? Like 5 years, something like that. 5, 6 years. See, they're still there. The ones I'm pointing to, they're still intact, but like half of them went out. That's what happens. That's what happens when you are crazy and you have your Christmas lights up. Yeah, because I think 7 years actually. Mm-hmm. You had that video. It was called Christmas Lights Up All Year. Remember? That was like one of your first videos that you did. In 2017, baby. Yeah, see, that's the man in my head. It's just kind of a back and forth. I don't have multiple personalities. People that have multiple personalities, what that means is that they subconsciously, like, go into that personality and they're not aware of it. Okay? So you don't know what you're talking about. You need to do some research on these disorders before you accuse people of having them just because you don't understand the way that they communicate. Okay, anyway. That was a lot of topics I just discussed. But yeah, identity is a huge problem in America because people don't understand their identity. I mean, just look at people with American identity. It's like a lot of these so-called patriots, like they're having a fucking mental breakdown right now. Yeah, well, you shouldn't have had faith in this country. Take all that faith that you had in America and put it in God, okay? Put it in God and put it in the gifts that God gave you because you're going to need them in the future, all right? I'm telling you what the solution is. Shut the fuck up. Like, this country is not getting it. It's not going to get better until people realize that it's up to them to fix it. It's not up to politicians. Like, I love the fuck out of a lot of people on the internet that are very passionate, but they're fucking normal. You know, like, they want this boring-ass plebeian sheep of a country, okay? That's what they want. Did you guys see this recent thing? It was like, make America normal again. This country is like a surveillance state. Like, I mean, I guess you could say that's normal. I don't think that it should be, but, you know, I mean, we don't really have privacy. We never have. This is coffee, by the way. It's not Coca-Cola. I drink black coffee. Let's do the flute sound. What time is it? Say what time it is. Ooh, it's 5:03. You guys like this picture? It's a cicada in my hand. They're all gone now. Isn't that crazy? They were here and they're gone. I found one at my work. It got into the mop water and it was like spazzing out. And I just knew that it was dying and I took it home. I took it home and I put it next to my nightstand. Because yes, I'm not crazy. I would sleep next to a cicada, all right? And keep it until I die, all right? Hopefully it will be buried with me. But I don't know what's going to happen with all that. A lot of people think that, like, all this crazy shit's going to happen. I mean, the only thing that we can do is just, you know, like pray, okay? And, you know, take care of business. I don't want to do these chords. These chords are boring. I think people need to stop freaking out. That's all they do now. It doesn't get them anywhere, but they don't seem to care. They just keep on going nowhere. I'll keep reading the songs 'cause it raises my vibrational frequency, and that's good enough for me. Oh, also, by the way, I wasn't putting up a lot of videos because I'm sure you've noticed, if you're Lauren, you noticed that I put up a lot of videos. She watches way more than most people. But we crazy bitches have to stick together. There are very few women that get it. And I'm not saying that to prop myself up. I can't stand that shit. Ego, 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 hell no. I realize that it's important, so I'm trying to use it for something positive, but I really hate it. Constantly annoyed by it. But anyway, what was I trying to say? I was trying to say that my uploading was like really, really slow for some reason. I thought I was gonna have to like call somebody out here to fix my internet. My internet was working fine. It was just the uploading, and it was on both YouTube and Rumble, and so I was having to like upload at different times because it would literally take me like all day to upload one video. So it was like old times, you know, like the "You've got mail," you know, the AOL, like the little man running across the screen for 6 hours. But then when you finally got to the internet, Zoomers have no idea what I'm talking about. Back in the day, it took a long, long time to get on the internet. The thing that you have in your pocket all the time that you take for granted, we didn't take for granted. We had to wait 6 hours for it, okay? You don't know what you're talking about. Not to say that there aren't really stupid Zoomers. Of course there are. But if we were to compare and contrast generations, I'd say that they're the best one by far, but... It's because they always had the thing that everybody else has that they're using to destroy themselves, and they don't seem to notice that. Well, the select few do, but... That's why I still have a flip phone. Mainly because, you know, I've already destroyed myself with other things that I've been addicted to. And I see, you know, the proclivity of addiction with technology. So that's why I just don't want to fuck with it. But also, I believe that I'm a remnant.